it's still, I mean, look, getting a little breezy I can see out on Biscayne Bay. In fact, Brian Allen, what if you could give me I'd be interested in a local weather, you know, the top of the hour weather here for South Florida, just to see what the winds that we are reporting here and around the area. All right, now let's go back to that satellite picture, please. And notice where the eye is. The eye is just about to come ashore. In fact, this picture was taken probably about an hour ago now. So that eye may very well be ashore now at the northern end of Eleuthera. Those little fingers of clouds sticking out. Looks like that band of showers now right through the Bimini's. Another band, another weak band through Freeport, extending down to Andros Island. Clearly we're in an area of a little bit of a lull right now in between these bands of showers. But once the bands start, we'll get them for a while. And then we may get another lull. View of the eye, indicating, as we talked about, that the hurricane does tend to bit in intensity, but it is absolutely dumb luck whether you happen to hit it on a low pulse or a high pulse as it comes ashore. And we can clearly see the bands there right on the edge of the storm are indeed the showers that we were showing you here on the radar just a moment ago. Why don't we look at that tracking map just one more time? And I hate to belabor all this because we have a storm 240 miles away with 150-mile-an-hour winds, and obviously 16 miles an hour. We're talking about 15 hours. We're just about 5 o'clock here. 5 o'clock, 15 hours from now puts it at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning in terms of the eye arriving.
But then you got to back up a little bit.
But then you got to back up, and we figure you have to back up about 6 hours, which puts us at 2 a.m., and so we're saying, to be sure, in case you run into some pretty good squalls that arrive before that, that everything that happens needs to happen by midnight tonight.
If you had some place to go, if you're a little bit behind and you're packing up your house and you're trying to secure it before you evacuate, can you drive from here to there tonight at midnight?
Yeah, I don't think the weather conditions will prevent you. It's the panicky people on the road that will prevent you, I think, more than anything else. The weather conditions by midnight tonight, as they are in the Bahamas.
From one house to another, if you got to go to a relative's house and it's midnight.
Ed Odell is over in the Bahamas, and they're going to be about 6 hours ahead of us as that goes by there. So it's the equivalent now of 11 o'clock our time in the Bahamas as far as the progress of the storm. And he's having no trouble maneuvering around Nassau, although the front of the storm is not at Nassau. Nassau is a little south of the center, so plus or minus an hour there.
Brian, we've been giving the phone numbers for the rumor control hotline for Dade County, and of course they've added some additional numbers. We also have some phone numbers right here at Channel 4 in our help center. If we can put those numbers up, people should know that they can call us right here at Channel 4. Those recorded messages they're getting on that, or is that in our help center where we have staffed people?
Well,
Brian?
I'll tell you the truth. Julie, tell me once again what you said about this.
Okay, these are phone numbers in our help center. Right. We have people who are there to answer your questions. Now, they can't tell you which shelter to go to and if the shelter's closed. Those crucial kind of emergency questions need to go to the rumor control hotline. But in the help center, and you see a live picture right now of our staff members taking phone calls, and we have a lot of people able to answer your questions. And those numbers at the bottom of your screen: in Dade County, 379-HELP. And in Broward County, 523-HELP, and we can direct you. What kind of people should be calling those numbers, Brian?
Well, I think that first of all, we've been putting up the address of the shelters, and I think that the most important thing we can do to help people here is give those addresses.
Shelter addresses. So if you've missed them, and if we're not giving them to you often enough, we'll give them to you. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we plan to do that again after 5 o'clock? We're going to check in with Bob Sheets at the Hurricane Center at 5 o'clock. And as soon as that's over, why don't we just make our commitment here in the 5 o'clock hour to go through those addresses, and anybody that has rethought their process, that now, okay, we're going to believe what they're saying, we're going to go. Right. That right after 5 o'clock here, that's what we're going to do is give you a place to go. But to get back to your question of who should call these numbers here, don't call and ask for a shelter address. We'll give that to you on the television. If you have some question that you're not in an evacuation area, and again, the questions like we've been trying to answer about people that live in high-rises out of the evacuation areas, if you have a specific issue about your neighborhood, anything like that that we might be able to address here that would answer your question and probably the question for many other people,
That's the kind of calls we'd like to take in the help center. If you have emergency needs where you, for whatever reason, just having the address of the shelter is not sufficient for you to get there, either by using the mass transportation or by using a car or a friend or however you're going to get there, if that's not sufficient, then we're going to have to send you, most efficiently, send you out. Let's not put up this number here. We want to send them to the emergency hotline numbers at the emergency operations centers. If we can put those numbers up.
Those are the rumor control numbers.
They were called rumor control, and we've relabeled them because they're really emergency hotlines. So these are for people that cannot evacuate on their own, have personal emergency problems, and just don't have anywhere else to turn. 595-6661 or 596-8735. We added numbers there in Dade County because of so many calls. In Broward, 357-8454. Monroe County, 800-427-8343. And we talked to Billy Wagner, and we haven't mentioned Monroe County in some time, and he was feeling good about the evacuation coming out of the Keys. They have ordered a full evacuation out of the Keys. But what's going to happen down there is they're going to stop the evacuation in 8 different places once they think that people are threatened with being caught on the road. So they won't allow people to get out there and get caught on the road. So they'll stop people from coming out of the lower Keys.
Right.
Because actually the way the storm is moving, the upper Keys and the middle Keys are more threatened than the lower Keys. So if you can't get out of the lower Keys, you're better off to be in the lower Keys than you are to get stuck in the upper Keys where the storm would be more intense. All right, it is 5 o'clock here, and Dr. Bob Sheets is standing by at the National Hurricane Center with the latest advisory. Let's go ahead and check in with Dr. Bob Sheets now in Coral Gables.
Good evening. Hurricane Andrew continues to move toward the west at near 16 miles per hour. Our latest hurricane reconnaissance aircraft has reported that the pressure remains steady at 922 millibars. That means the maximum winds are at 150 miles per hour. We expect little change in strength, maybe some slight fluctuations as it approaches the southeast coast of Florida. That impact will be felt along the coast near midnight tonight, with the biggest part of the impact, the strongest part of the storm, moving in near dawn tomorrow morning. I'm Bob Sheets from the National Hurricane Center in Coral Gables, Florida.
All right, thank you, Bob. Let's clarify here, because his timetable was a little different than we described. But we talked about the eye coming over sometime 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. But the most intense part of the storm is in advance of the eye.
A couple hours,
and that's why Broward County, and maybe another hour from the intense part of the storm approaching the Dade County coast. Bob Sheets, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
We're keeping the Miami radar up continuously here as much as we can, because I can't think of anything else that impresses on people that the storm is on our doorstep at this point. And if anybody has any last thoughts about finally getting off the beach or whatever, hopefully this will motivate them. We're seeing on the Miami radar, the live Miami radar, those yellow severe thunderstorms in that outer band. But what kind of winds that can we expect in there?
Well, the airplane shows about 75 to 80 mile per hour winds in this outer band right out here.
Bob, tell me that once again. I'm sorry, you were stepped onto my ear.
In this here outer band here, the airplane is showing about 75 to 80 miles.